Hello, my name is Ransom 4, and this presentation is about the traditional and the online learning model. I want to start by looking at the similarities that exist between two models. These models both require a huge commitment on the part of the students because they have similar workloads, and they both require students to manage their time wisely. Now, if I look at the advantages and disadvantages of the online model, is that the advantage is that it supports lifelong learning, and usually costs less. And as a disadvantage, it doesn't offer human interaction and there is often lack of student motivation. On the part of the traditional learning, as an advantage is that students cultivate interpersonal skills and students learn to work under pressure. But the disadvantage here is that it doesn't offer flexibility in terms of study hours and is usually not a good model for introverted students. As far as differences are concerned, the venue and the schedule are usually the criteria that are used to differentiate both. For online learning model, just like the name implies, it takes place online, whereas a traditional learning model takes place in a physical classroom. For the schedule, online learning takes place anytime, whereas traditional learning takes place under a predetermined schedule. Applying andragogy to both theories, for example, on an assignment, I'll be designing an assignment that has three main components. The first component is going to be one in which the purpose of the assignment is outlined and the description, the format, the resources, and the due dates needed to complete that assignment also aligned in there, and what software is going to be required to complete that assignment. Now, the second component or the second part is going to be one in which I provide opportunity for students to apply or share their experience, drawing from any background knowledge that the students already have. And then lastly, I will give opportunities for students to share or apply the knowledge they've learned in solving real world problems or telling them how that knowledge is going to apply to real world scenarios. Now, if I want to design instruction such that it will maximize student performance, whether it's in a traditional or in an online learning model, I will want my instructions to have certain components. The first one is flexibility. I want to design instructions that are flexible in terms of responding to students' needs. And the flexibility here can be as simple as accepting late work for justified reasons, or allowing students to demonstrate their assignments in a variety of ways. For example, through hands-on activity rather than a written explanation. And I also want to make sure that I prepare pre-recorded lessons because today's students are usually distracted. And when listening to lectures, they can miss one part of the lecture because of a distraction. But with pre-recorded lessons, they can always catch up on any part they've missed. Uh, Another component I want to make sure is it is embedded in my instruction is the use of technology. Students today are technological savvy, so I want to make sure that my instruction embeds technology like interactive boards instead of standing and lecturing for hours or minutes in front of students. And last but not the least, I want my instruction to relate to students' life in one way or the other. Students should be able to know why it matters. Why does it matter? If you are learning about money, I want students to know that you are learning about money because in a real world situation, you will need money to buy goods, you will need money to pay bills, you will have to save for projects, and so on. So, learning financial literacy is going to go a long way to help you to fit in a real world society. This comes to the end of my presentation, and this presentation wouldn't have been possible without information obtained from these sources to whom I want to give credit and utmost thanks. Thank you for your kind attention.